If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all of our channels: YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please leave us a rating and review. Also, visit us on the sportscast.net for all of the up to date sports news. If you have an iPhone, you can now download our new app. This episode is brought to you by Zach White, Realtor, LAH Homewood in Birmingham, Alabama. Many of you know Zach as someone who's actively been helping kids learn sports and life lessons through Soccer Shots, Wish to Enrich, and Iron Kids Ministries. Well, now Zach has a new way to serve others through LAH Real Estate. If you or someone you know is looking for a home or needing to sell, call Zach at 205 381 7050. I'm your host, Over the Hill Powerlifter, and 2003 Bama grad, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is the man who is an Alabama legend, all SEC linebacker, two-time author, and when Ric Flair said to be the man, whoo, you gotta beat the man, he is that man, Marvin Constant.
Hey. It's a pleasure to
Hey,
be with you as always.
yes, sir, roll tide. How was your
I'm
week?
tired.
How was the weekend, Marvin?
Yeah, it wasn't long enough. It seemed like it went by too fast, and I wasn't happy with the things I seen this weekend. So,
And you know what? That's where we are going to introduce our new segment. It's called Constant Chaos, brought to you by Milo's, who have one of the greatest food traditions since 1946. This segment allows Marvin to give us his unfiltered thoughts on issues surrounding the Crimson Tide. This week, we discussed the Ole Miss game. So, Marvin, I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to follow from there. So, lead the way.
point number one. This is where I'm going to start, and from here, it'll all make sense. Have you ever seen Alabama's defense give up 647 yards of total offense? Did you cover anybody? Did you even sack any? Did you even get off the bus? Is my question. Where was the defense? I've never seen so many missed tackles, missed assignments, bad play calls. I mean,
Yeah,
because it starts with at the top. You know, you can't just blame the players. It starts at the
right.
top and it trickles down. And across the board, I have never seen a defense under Nick Saban look so bad. Lane Kiffin pretty much did what he wanted to do. Now, granted, it's Lane Kiffin, offensive mastermind, genius, whatever you want to call him. I knew he was going to give us problems, but not 647 yards of total
Right.
offense problems. And when I went back and I looked at the game, they just physically dominated us. That's what they did. They physically dominated our defense. They gave our defense all it could handle and then some. Because any other team that put up that as many points as they did, with 48 points, you're going to win that game. But luckily, our offense showed up and did what they do. Number one in the country in offensive efficiency, number one in several offensive categories across the board. Without that offense, we would have had our asses handed to us and been embarrassed on Saturday if it wasn't for our offense. Straight embarrassed. You know, it's to the point to where I invited some friends over for the Alabama-Georgia game. I told them it's canceled. Don't even come to my house. Because, you know, some of them
Yeah,
went to Georgia, and I don't need that bad chi in my house because if it
yeah.
happens 2 weeks in a row, it's going to be a problem. And what I don't understand is, why have we not made Charlie Strong our defensive coordinator yet? Like, what are we waiting for here? I mean, from bad play calling to busted assignments. I mean, I was actually speechless for a lot of it, you know. I was sitting on the couch, and I really felt like, you know, if we had to let them hang around a little bit longer, that they were going to win that game.
Hmm.
It was really in doubt to me. And when they called that onside kick, that first one, oh, had they got that, oh, we would have been in trouble. Trouble. Because we weren't able to stop them. We got, one decent stop the second half? One? How do you get one stop in a half? One. Every other possession, they score points.
And that actual stop was mainly because of a botched snap by Ole Miss's center. So it really put them out of position to score. But Here's the thing, and I really don't know where to start because there was just a myriad of things that went wrong. Yes, Lane Kiffin called an amazing game. You knew that coming in. He had the game plan. He was going to expose weaknesses, but not to the point to where, like you mentioned, there were just so many missed tackles. I mean, I can't even count how many missed tackles. Players out of position, like you said, busted assignments, busted coverages, out physicaled. I mean that was just what was so surprising to me. And we have these behemoths up front like Christian Barmore, uh,
Got whooped.
got whooped. I mean, and also too, I know as a defensive player, this makes you really mad. There was a lot of our defensive players that were standing around watching ball carriers and waiting for them to make a move first, instead of doing what you always say, to and through. No attacking. It's like they were afraid to do something. Uh,
But you know what really pissed me off though? Earlier in the day, I'm laughing, I'm calling, I'm texting all of my friends that played at LSU, talking crap to them. I probably should have shut up
yeah.
because our defense looked worse than their defense.
Well,
I was talking so much trash to all my LSU friends. You know what? This week I ain't got nothing to say to nobody. I'm gonna be on my couch, quiet as a church mouse, praying to God. Please, God, let our defense show up today. Please, God, let Pete Golding actually use his brain today and actually understand the game of football and make the right calls in the right situation. Man,
well, let
it's
me.
3rd and 26. Why are we in cover 1 or cover 0? It's 3rd and 26. We should be in cover 3, cover 4, play the sticks. Let him throw it underneath, tackle the man, and we off the field. Why are we in cover 1 and cover 0 in 3rd and forever? That is stupidity.
What's even more embarrassing is the fact it was third and what 26, 27. They hand the ball off to Jerry and Neely, and he runs for 22 yards.
That's
22.
because when you're in cover 1 and cover 0, everybody's got their back turned because they're chasing people. So if you run a running back draw or QB draw, usually because everybody's chasing people, nobody sees it. Again, why are we in man-to-man in 3rd and forever? Every defensive coordinator on this planet knows run a safe defense in that
Right.
situation. But not us. No,
No.
no, 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 not us. We're big bad Alabama. We're going to guard your guys man to man while you run a damn drawdown our throat. Come on, man.
Let me ask you this: as a player, how much of this is coaching, and how much of this is player? Or is it even, or is it more of one than the other?
Well, I'm going to blame it on both parties because I ain't going to lie to you. If it were me personally and I were on the field, I'd done it before. if I seen something I didn't like what coach called, I would call my own call. Hey, man, like, listen, man. Hey, man, I knew what you called, you thought was going to work, but I seen what I seen. Me personally, I would have checked to a 3 or 4 if I was on the field. Yeah, because as a middle linebacker, coaches,
Hmm.
some coaches give you that freedom and flexibility based upon what you see on the offense. And that was one of the things that if I didn't like it, I'm changing it. So at some point, somebody on the field has to step up and say, hey, man, this ain't working. We got to do something different.
Which glad you brought that up. Brings me to the point. Dylan Moses. I mean, he didn't look like Dylan Moses. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of worried about his draft stock now, after playing a horrendous game. Yes, he had 13 tackles, but man, he just looked lost out there. And you talk about getting people in the right position, get people in the right gaps. It didn't look.
Justin, they ran almost 100 plays. Hell, me and you can go out there and get 13 damn tackles
Oh, I know. That's what I'm
off the
saying.
street. It's not hard when you can't stop them and they keep running play after play after play.
Right. And then too, the communication wasn't there. You got people looking to the sideline, looking to each other, not knowing what in the hell to do. I've never seen this before. I saw it last year and kind of expected because we had a lot of young guys. But this
Right.
year, those young guys are up another class. The veterans who are out, they're back, and you kind of expect that to disappear. Why is it not disappearing?
I don't know, but as a middle linebacker, you're responsible. You're the quarterback of the defense. You
Right.
don't like something, you adjust it. You have to be the field general. You have to be the guy that make it all work. So that it starts with 32. At some point, 32 has to say, hey, man, this is my team, my defense, my everything. Let me do what I got to do to get this up and running. Because until 32 does that, it's going to be a rough road.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I am going to be paying attention to going forward. How are we going to respond? After getting gashed like that, we're going into probably one of the most important games, if not the most important game of the season. How as a defense do you respond after what we just saw on Saturday?
They better get ready because it's going to be a physical one. Georgia's defense is number one in the country in defensive efficiency. So what that's going to lead to is that offense isn't going to score as many points. That offense is not going to be out there on the field as much.
All right.
So when the offense gets stops more, that means the defense has to play more, which means it's going to be a longer game. So they better buckle up and get ready because it's not only is it going to be physical, you better believe Kirby's going to come prepared. And he has Scott Cochran on his staff and several other guys that worked at Alabama. They know all the tricks. They know all the traps. They know everything. So that's not going to work. You just going to have to man up and play football Saturday. That's the only way you can do it. If you're not manning up and playing football, stay your ass in Tuscaloosa. Don't even get on the bus.
Yeah. And Georgia will give us a different look. Of course, they're not going to be as dynamic as, say, an Ole Miss. They kind of still run an old school type of offense. But one thing that you can agree on is they are physical and they are dominant when it comes to physicality. Now, they might not be tossing the ball around like we had experienced last week, but they're going to hit us in the mouth. So, how are we going to respond to a team that's going to be that physical?
Well, they're going to be physical. And, like you said, they're going to come out. They're going to try to run the ball. The passing game is going to be mediocre at best, middle of the road. They got the Kirk, the cashier from Burger King under center. So, it's not like he's going to go out here and just beat us with his passing, but he's going to manage the game. He's not going to make mistakes. That's the one thing he has done all season that I've watched. He doesn't make many mistakes. So, defensively, it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be low scoring in the first half. Second half, one of the two is going to have to wear down, and whichever one wears down first, it's probably going to be the one that loses.
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes.
And Georgia doesn't make many mistakes.
No, definitely not now. Even with the Burger King cashier at quarterback, it feels like they're very disciplined. They're more mature than teams we've seen in the past from Kirby Smart, and they look more like a team that's ready to take that next step. Question is, are they?
Now, make no mistake about it. Tennessee had a chance to beat them last week.
They did.
The turning point in that game was that idiotic targeting call on the quarterback when I don't know what player on Tennessee launches with this helmet into Georgia's quarterback, into the Burger King clerk, and they give him a first down and they go on to score right before the half. That was the turning point in that game. Tennessee had that game in hand at that point. It only takes one stupid mistake to throw off the rhythm and change the momentum of a game. And we've been guilty of that. We did the same thing last week. Stupid targeting penalty late in the game. Gave Ole Miss the first down. I mean, we could have been in the same position Tennessee was in last week. So it's a lack of discipline. It's a lack of effort. It's a lack of a defensive coordinator who has a true understanding of what it takes to be a defensive coordinator. And it's a lack of player on-field leadership. That's what it comes down to.
Now, you mentioned Scott Cochran earlier. This is a big game because, he returns to Tuscaloosa after years of being the standard in the strength coaching business as far as college football is concerned. Now, he departed to Georgia, and it looks like he has them ready like he had us. And, I'm kind of because, we were supposed to have this new innovative strength coaching staff that came in from Indiana, this new wave of doing things. And I'm beginning to question that because I'm seeing the less physicality now. I mean, have you noticed that, or is that something I'm just kind of, reading too much into?
I mean, me personally, would I hire a strength coach from Indiana? Hell no. Hell no. But I talk about this in my book. Everybody gets caught up in the new fancy, flashy, the bells and the whistles. Listen, man, you don't have to have all this crap to get a guy ready to play. Either you're going to train him right and he's going to be ready, or you can act like you're training him right and he's going to get his ass handed to him. I think right now we're acting like we're training him right and getting our asses handed to us, because that team looked nothing like the Alabamas we're used to seeing. Nothing like it.
I completely agree. As far as the offense goes, of course, we're one of the best in the country. Mac Jones, I think, is third in the country in passing yardage and efficiency. Uh, are you buying into the possible Heisman hype that Mac Jones is starting to accumulate?
Ask me that question next Tuesday after he faces the number one defense in defensive efficiency. And I'll give you an answer to that. But I'm not going to answer that based off what you did against Ole Miss and Missouri. Come on now.
Yeah,
Come on
absolutely.
now.
Absolutely
Really?
right.
Right. Yeah. Hell, I can go run through a paper bag right now. That doesn't prove nothing. But you put a real wall up there, yeah, see what happens.
Well, this is definitely going to be the show me game for Mac Jones and for serious Heisman conversation. They've been saying it.
But you know what pisses me off though?
Who was that?
Man, after watching that performance last week, it's like, how bad can we be defensively? And I had this whole plan in my head, right, where I was going to have a small gathering for this game.
Yeah.
I invited some of my friends who played at Georgia, went to Georgia, along with a few of my Alabama people. Small gathering, 10 to 15 people max. But I was going to have lamb chops shank with some lobster, some ribeyes. A very fancy menu. I don't even know if I want to go that route now. Because if I go pay for all this crap and we get our ass handed to us, I'm going to be pissed.
Man, you might want to stick with Papa John's.
Papa John's, man, I'm thinking more like DiGiorno at this point.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
My God. Because if I go spend $400-500 on this and they get beat, I'm driving to Tuscaloosa with that receipt and I'm taking it out somebody's ass.
Hey, speaking of that, man, I saw your videos on Instagram that night. Did you ever get that GoFundMe page started? Because I was ready to donate.
Hey, there was a lot of people saying, "Hey, come on, you ready?" Hey, I'm always ready.
Hey, I was about ready to get in the car and come pick you up and try to make it there on time, man.
We could not get a stop to save our lives, man.
So, where is the defense at mentally at this point? Is their confidence broken? What? I'm trying to understand where they are right now, because to give up, like you said, almost 650 total yards of offense, something's off.
You want to know what they had? I think they had Six Flags, SeaWorld, somewhere on vacation, man. Somewhere having a good old time. Miami Beach. I don't know what island they're on enjoying themselves, because it ain't Football Island. It ain't what's in.
Last week Antonio brought the fact that, you could look at the, COVID causing this, the fact that we didn't have a full spring. We didn't have the players on campus during the off season, during the summer workouts, and didn't really give the coaches time to spend with them working on these schemes and calls and things like that. But if you look at what you saw on Saturday, a lot of it had to do with fundamentals or lack thereof. So does that excuse really hold water in this situation?
It does not hold water in this situation, because whether you've been playing high school or college, cover 3 is cover 3, cover 4 is cover 4, cover 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 2 is 2. Now, when the person calling the plays is putting you in bad situations, that's a whole nother issue. When you're missing tackles, that's a whole nother issue. Not being physical, whole nother issue. So to me, it's just a whole pile of whole nother issues that need to be flushed down the toilet, and they're either going to get it right or they're going to get their asses handed to them come Saturday. Because Georgia's not going to play with them. Because you better believe Kirby's telling them about all those losses, from the blackout to that 2013 SEC championship, to the last SEC championship, to the national championship, to that game in the rain. Kirby's telling them about all these ass whoopings that Alabama's put on them. And I guarantee you, he has them pumped and ready to go. He has them saying, hey, this is our time. This is going to be the time when we finally get over the hump. Now, they've gotten close the last 2 times.
Right.
So we know they're going to come prepared. Kirby has them ready to play. And knowing he's going to have them on 1,000, if we do anything like we did last week, we're going to get killed. And I will turn my phone off for about a week. So you won't be able to get me on here next Tuesday if we lose. I'm telling you now, I'm going to be in my whole hide because I don't want to hear nobody mouth.
We'll just do some replays next Tuesday if that's the case.
We do a re-air.
We're going to do a re-air. Our best moments. I think a little compilation of last week, and then when Funny Man was on. So,
God, man, oh man.
But of course, another one of the excuses I've heard that is because the offenses are changing. That this is considered the new normal. That with the high-powered offenses, I call BS.
BS. It's called pride. It's called want to. Either you want to do it or you don't want to. Last week, they didn't want to. It looked like they just wanted to get on that bus and go back to Tuscaloosa and go do whatever it is they do at night. It didn't look like they wanted any parts in Ole Miss's offense. That defense looked sluggish. They looked beat. They looked flat out worn out. Yeah. And I can tell you, after a game like that, you have to do a lot of recovery stuff during the week to even get your body back ready to play because they played a lot of plays. So you go from that to, I'm sure Coach Saban probably wore them out at practice this week. And now you got to play Georgia. That's a lot of wear and tear on the body.
What do you think that defensive meeting was like on Sunday or Monday?
I think it was probably a lot of finger pointing, a lot of name calling, a lot of cursing.
Do you think Nick, like anybody get a word in edgewise?
I don't think anybody did. Old Golding probably was in the back somewhere with his head down because, again, it starts at the top. It starts from bad play calling to bad execution to bad fundamentals. I mean, it starts at the top and it trickles down. It was across the board. Right. There's not one person that you can isolate over another to say this is why it happened.
And let's say that Alabama fans right now get their wish and play calling duties are turned over to Charlie Strong. Do you think that would make much of an impact? Because if you really look at it, Charlie Strong really hadn't called a defense in a good number of years. He's been a head coach, but not a true defensive coordinator.
Man, I will take my chances with that one.
Oh, I agree. I just wanted to hear your opinion. I know it's been on the minds of a lot.
Hell yeah. Please let Charlie Strong call the defenses. Man, listen, it can't get any worse.
That's true. I mean, how do you get worse than letting your opponent score on virtually every possession?
Exactly. And then, from all that I've heard of Charlie Strong and all the people that I know him, it's going to be a pride thing. It's going to be a want to thing. Self-determination. Charlie's going to channel something in them that's going to get the best out of them. And that's one of the things as a head coach and as a coordinator, or as a coach in general, you got to have the ability to get the best out of your players. I don't think Pete Golding has that ability to channel that and get that out of his players. I don't think he knows how to press that button.
Yeah, I think so. And, I heard a lot of chatter this past week that if you really look at his resume from top to bottom, it's making some Alabama fans question as to how he possibly got there. I know I talked to Steve Brown a couple of days ago, man, and he was saying, how did this guy get here? Look at his resume. It's not all that impressive. So this guy must have done a phenomenal job during the interview of fabricating some things. I don't know.
Either A, he's dating coach's daughter. B, he caught coach doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. One of the two.
Well, we know it's not anything he's not supposed to be doing because he never leaves the facility and he has his mind on one thing: football.
Exactly. So, come on. The guy's resume had to be on a roll of toilet tissue because it is, but I've seen his resume. It's like, where did you come from? You have done nothing to deserve this. Of all the people that job could have went to.
Hey man, I want him to speak for me in the next job opportunity I'm applying for, because I
He need to
mean,
be doing. He need to be somewhere doing TED talks.
something, man. I'm telling you. And while we're still waiting for our guest to show up, of course, the topic on everybody's mind is what's the reality of Pete Golding getting demoted or possibly ousted? Is that something that we really are looking at, or does Saban give him more chances?
I don't think he has many more performances like last Saturday left in him. I think another performance like that is pretty much going to solidify his departure. And I know a lot of times coaches don't like to make changes during the season, but if you want to survive this season, you're going to have to do something. You're not going to be able to allow him to continue to do this job if championship is your true end goal. Because to win a championship, you have to have defense. Nothing about that defense said championship. That defense said, hey, I'm a middle of the road Big 12 team.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, unless you
Yeah.
want to pad stats for a Heisman run, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, perfect example. Last year, they get to the playoffs. I love Jalen Hurts. Don't get me wrong. I was cheering for him. I wanted him to get an opportunity to win a title for himself. But the fact is, Oklahoma had zero defense, and they got annihilated. So, it doesn't
So,
work.
so who gave up more yards this past weekend, Oklahoma or Alabama?
Alabama.
So we can't even say middle of the road Big 12 team. Bottom of the barrel Big 12 team now. That's what we look like defensively. Almost 700 yards of offense. Whereas in the past, that defense might have gave up 200 yards.
And when we want not even give up 700 yards over a span of 5 games, so it all happened in one. So,
Right.
so now that you got a chance to push head on this whole thing, what do you do as a player to get your mind back on the ultimate goal, and that's winning a championship and doing what you came to that school to do?
Are you asking me from my perspective
Your
or the guys
perspective.
that are currently on that team?
Well, I'm asking for your perspective. If you're on this team right now, w- you know, answer it as if you were on the team right now, from your perspective.
If I was a starting middle linebacker, I'd be making my own calls on the field. And if it went bad, I just have to take the blame for it. I kid you not, man. Because because it's all about situational football. If I see it's third, 7, third, 8, third, 9, third, 10, situation like that, and I don't like the call, then yeah, I'm gonna adjust to something that I know that's gonna put us in a better position to get us off the field. If I feel like, hey, we're in this man-to-man defense, and I feel like they're gonna run some type of draw from a quarterback or some type of screen game, then yeah, I'm gonna switch to a zone. I'm gonna check to a zone defense to get everybody to watch it. Or if I feel like we need to blitz, if it's a situation where it's third and 2, third and 3, and I feel like I see, okay, these guys splits are kind of wide and they hand heavy, meaning I know they're finna run the ball right here, then yeah, I might call a blitz to those gaps. Yeah, I might
Hmm.
call a slant to that side of the field to get people to run there. Yeah, I might just do that.
You know what? I think you need to be honest with you. I just feel like the whole mentality needs to change. I feel like that Bama factor is gone. So how do we get that back at this point? I'm kind of scratching my head. Um, you know, I know we're a little spoiled because of what players like George Teague and Antonio Langham did for us, and then what you did with your group. So my question is this something that we can get back to real quickly, or are we going to have a few more growing pains?
I hope it's not anything bad. I'm hoping that we get it rectified. We better get it rectified by Saturday.
What are your expectations going into Georgia?
Expectations. I don't have any expectations. I'm just waiting. So
I'm not used to you being this quiet, man. I'm used to the trash talking. I'm used to the pumping up, man. Don't let them steal your thunder, brother.
I ain't stealing my thunder, but at the same time, man, I talk so much crap all summer and all season. I almost had to eat those words this past Saturday. That was not a good feeling.
Absolutely. Of course, it doesn't get any easier from here. We get past Georgia, then we got to go to Knoxville and play the Volunteers. Matter of fact, one of their coaches is waiting to be let in right now. So, and then of course, I know LSU is struggling, but LSU is still LSU when they play Alabama. The SEC schedule is not a forgiving one. So, yeah, there
Right.
is no room for mistakes.
Right. So who do we have holding right now?
We got Kindle, man. He's ready to come in.
Well, let him in. We got Jason on too.
No, he dipped for a second. Not sure where he's at, but
Well, he'll come in. Well, we can start with Kendall. Just let the rest of them in when they come in.
all right. Well, of course, last week we had history makers who set the standard at the defensive back position at the college NFL level. We also had a comedy icon. I've not stopped laughing since last week, by the way.
No,
It had to be one of the most entertaining shows we've ever had.
very.
This week should be no different. We focus on the men who are behind the muscle. Please introduce our guests that we have on board tonight.
Tonight, we're going to have 4 amazing guests for you. First and foremost, my former roommate, former legend, former big dog himself, former Atlanta Falcon. I don't know if he want to announce that part, though. With the Falcon. Former Carolina Panther, Kindal Moorehead, from University of Tennessee, from the University of Clemson. We got Paul Hogan from Mississippi State. We're going to have Alex Watkins, and from UAB, the legendary Big T's son, Jason Jones.
After all the Falcon shaming you've been doing lately, I don't know if I want you to introduce him as a Falcon.
I thought about that.
But you know what? The posts have been great. I'm waiting for the fall down T-shirts to be printed on your website.
Oh man.
Oh well, Kindle was here. Not sure where he dipped off to. I guess he heard what you said.
I hope not.
But man, we got an amazing crew. Paul Hogan and Kindal Moorehead, both from the time we were there. Absolute beat. Did all SEC. Matter of fact, Paul was 3-time All SEC, All American was All SEC. Absolutely dominant on that side of the ball. Who helped lead one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Really excited about what they bring to the table and what we're going to learn from them tonight, especially from a strength coaching perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're catching a couple of reps before they log on with us. But I guess while we wait, can you tell us any funny stories about your old roommate to welcome him in?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. His mom makes the best chicken salad ever. I'll tell you that. Hey, Mama Moorehead make that. Hey, she make a chicken salad just. Oh my God! Listen, Justin, best chicken salad I've ever had in my life.
What's all in it?
I don't know. She didn't give me the recipe, man.
Man, I'm just trying to get a minute. Matter of fact, I think he might need to share some of that with us. So if we can get that at the end of the show, that'd be awesome. But yeah, any good stories from when y'all were on the field together that maybe the audience doesn't know about?
Nah, because he was our business on the field.
That's true.
He was definitely our business. There was no joking. There was no playing. He was a man on a mission at all times. When I say, a lot of guys, they'll play around a little bit. Nah, it was all business with 5'4". He was not playing at all. He was there for one purpose, and that was to wreak havoc.
Well, what did you see in Kindal early on? Even as a freshman, he came in and just absolutely dominated from the get-go. I mean, even at a young age, I mean, he's playing like a veteran. What did you see? Matter of fact, I guess now you heard me talking about him. The man is here.
Yeah, we'll bring him in.
He's connecting. I guess he heard all the good stuff.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Kindal?
What's going on,
good?
brother?
Hey, Marvin didn't make you go away with all that negative talk about the Falcons, did he?
No, man, the Falcons will break your heart these days, though. Man.
Hey, they'll break your wallet, your heart, everything.
Man, you ain't lying up, boy. They gotta do something about that though.
Well, yeah. So Justin was asking me about you playing in college. I will say this: when you start talking about handwork, oh my, he had phenomenal handwork. You talking about that a press? He had a phenomenal press, and as a D lineman, I mean that's got to be one of your first tools in the toolbox. He was great at that.
No
Absolutely.
doubt.
And what I asked Marvin about earlier, Kendall, is that when you first got there, you played like a veteran immediately. There was no, transition period. There's not, put your on and kind of wait for you to slowly develop. I mean, you shot out the cannon and were ready. I mean, you were all SEC from the start. So how were you able to make that transition so effortlessly?
I mean, honestly, I just felt like the high school team I was playing on. I mean, we was pretty loaded at the time. Man, we had about 10 guys go D1. I mean, about 3 years in a row, we had about 10 guys. So I felt like we was pretty much college ready with the talent we was playing with in high school already. So when I got there, I just felt like it was an easy transition. Even though I never played D-line before until I got to college, though.
Hey, Justin.
Yes, sir.
He played on the second best high school in America.
I don't know about that.
Okay, if y'all would have went head to head in high school, what's that outcome look like?
I'm saying it depends on the
baby.
year. Because they was pretty stacked, but I don't think no high school beat 96 Melrose.
I think 96 Central, which was 4 in the country, can hold their own with anybody.
I don't think that's just a debate gonna go on for a long time. It's been going on for a long time.
For a long time.
I'm willing to devote a show to it one day. So if y'all feel up to it, I'm down for it.
Justin Paul just texted me. I think he's trying to come on, or if he hasn't, he's about to. They're all finishing up their practices. We got all these amazing coaches from these great institutions on here.
I showed Jeff walked in the door. I sure forgot to.
Yeah, they got to wrap up practices. So who y'all got this week?
We got Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, we got game.
Yeah.
That should be a nice performance. Kentucky ain't been slacking now.
Right. Kentucky ain't slacking. They know for their defense. They're gonna bring it now, and it's always a tough game against Tennessee, so they're gonna have to come with it.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a question for you while we waiting on Paul and Alex real quick. What do you think about Alabama giving up 647 yards?
Man, in a way, I wasn't shocked. I didn't think they would give up that much, but I knew Kiffin would go at them though. I knew Kiffin had some for him, but I didn't think they'll put up that many points.
Man, did you watch that game?
I watched most of it.
They couldn't get a stop to save their life.
At all. I'm talking about he was picking them apart.
But two, why are we running cover 0 and cover 1 in 3rd and long instead of playing zone and playing the sticks and just play the ball and make a punt?
I mean, that's a good question. And
I'm just saying.
That's a good question, man. I don't know.
Because look, think about it. We running man-to-man in this 3rd and forever. It happens several times. All they do is run a quarterback draw or running back draw. Everybody chasing receivers, so don't nobody even see it.
Right.
Like, why are we not just running a zone, a nice safe coverage? Let them catch the ball, tackle them, make them punt.
Break on the ball. That's true.
I hear all that.
Who is that?
What up? How y'all guys doing?
What up, Jay?
Glad to have you here.
Man, you put on the tightest T-shirt you could find, didn't you?
Man,
it's Squatover, man. You know what he doing.
Hey, he cutting the circulation off there. Hey, but look, y'all see y'all put on the shirt though. Cause we got on strength coach. I said I'm gonna put on some strength coach friendly today.
Strong, no doubt.
I'll say he waiting on you to let him in, Justin.
I don't see him. Wait a second. Hey. We got somebody. We got him coming. I think we got the whole gang here.
Up practice.
I got you. I'm I want to see how many of y'all got eligibility left so we can try to get this defense right.
Man, they better do something.
Because
Even
Kirby
though
ain't gonna play with them Saturday.
I think Georgia playing their hand though. Georgia gonna try to beat them and playing Alabama football. That's where they gonna make a mistake at.
Well, you
If
know they got
Georgia
that Burger King cashier at quarterback, so it ain't like they can go out there and really throw the ball.
If they ever spread it out and really open it up, they'll be dangerous because they got talent. But I don't think they're going to outfield for Alabama though.
Do you think Kirby will ever open it up? I mean, because it seems like he is just bound and determined to run that 1990s style of offense.
I mean, that's all he knows. Man, he came up under that Saban tree. When Saban first started at Alabama, that's how we played. Run the ball, play action, play good defense. He still think defense wins.
And well, and it does.
Especially if you play as good as they do.
Oh, no doubt.
No.
And like I was talking to Marvin earlier, they had that physical style of defense, and we hadn't exactly been playing physical. So these Georgia boys will still hit you in the mouth and challenge you. So I'm curious to see how we're going to respond to that.
Right, I agree.
Is Paul on yet?
I'm on. Can you hear me?
All right, here we go.
Hey, good to see you, brother. You on with Kendall and Jason, brother. Alex hadn't came yet. I guess he's still running late from practice. We already in here though. So
yeah, what's up, guys? Y'all doing good?
Doing great.
What's up, Paul?
What's up, Paul?
Hey.
So I gotta ask you this, Paul. We got these coaches from all these other schools on. How does it feel to be the number one team in the country and you get to talk to these other coaches who's not number one?
It's still early in the year, man. You don't know who's going to be good and who's going to be bad yet. About the 8th or 9th week of the season, you kind of are what you are. But right now, nobody really knows.
And I got to thank you, Paul, because you were the one person who could have dined me out when I was in Clemson shooting that commercial. Nope, I finally showed that picture. Nobody knew I was there but you. Paul could have dined me out, but he never said a word.
Yeah, you broke
safe with me, bud.
You broke the code on that one, boss.
ESPN cut me a check, and you wearing Tennessee gear now, so let's not talk about breaking codes.
But how'd that happen, man?
Man, life takes crazy turns sometimes.
Man, and that turn led you straight to Knoxville. But hey, I'm proud of you, man. I'm excited to see what you're doing there and the door that God's opened for you and this great opportunity. I mean, SEC ball, a historic program, can't get any better than that.
Yeah, man, it's true. I appreciate it.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it, Justin. Let's get them rolling. I know these guys, they got to get ready for them early morning workouts, so we can't keep them long.
No, I completely understand. So before we get into the meat of things, what kind of led you on the strength coaching, your biggest influences, and what made you feel like, this was your calling?
What was that, with me?
Yeah, we'll start with you, Kendall.
All right. Actually, when I first went to Alabama, I went there trying to coach on the field. And actually Marvin Constant is the one put it in my head, told me when I go back to finish my degree, because he had did it and he worked in the weight room. And once I got in there, all the contact we have with the guys, how much time we have with them, how much input we have on them, I kind of just fell in love with it. I felt like, they with us more than they are with the coaches. So you have a lot of impact on, their development.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I started in the weight room. When I went to, my senior year, after my senior year, I went to the Raiders, and I actually got cut the day before 9/11. So when the 9/11 hit, football and all got canceled that week. And I was looking for a job, and they didn't have anything available at Alabama. And my offensive line coach was working at Georgia. And he asked me if I wanted to come over there and volunteer, just to come on the field and kind of learn how to be like a volunteer, grad assistant. So I did that for a semester. And then I called a Mal Moore, and they actually had a spot open in the weight room. And so I started in the weight room, and that's where wanted to be. That's where my heart was. But, God had a different plan, and they had a guy leave that was breaking down film upstairs, and they said, "Hey, why don't you move upstairs and break down film for us?" So I ended up doing that, and then I did that for a year, and then the on the field GA left. They needed somebody to go on the field, so I'm not going to say I got stuck on the coaching side of it, but for a good while there, I was on the coaching side of it. I wanted to get back on the strength and conditioning side of it, but in hindsight, looking back, it was good to see how coaches break down film, what they look for. When they're recruiting athletes, what are they looking for, and just kind of get inside the head of a position coach.
Absolutely. Of course, Jason, I know you got pretty honest with your dad, but what was the main reason that you got into this line of work?
I really didn't have a knowledge plan. Really, I just grew up in an environment. So like when I was young, I stayed in the weight room, saw all the athletes and they're working out. So that was just something that I always grew up wanted to try to stay in the weight room somewhat. And I ended up interning. Once I started interning with like Cochran, I started seeing how much energy he had, see how he involved. So Moorehead was one of the 5. So how he was involved with the coaches. So, with the players. So I was like, this is something I want to do. So I just kept striving toward it and eventually ended up getting the, football strength conditioning job.
You sure when you just wanted to kill sleeves on shirts?
Well, I grew up wanting to be like you, Marvin.
We all gotta set our goals high, because Marvin is the standard. So,
man, I'm just 41 trying to hold it together.
I hear you, brother. Okay, well, let's talk about really the man that kind of got everybody started, and that was Coach TJ. Can y'all talk about his influence on y'all, and then what takeaways you've got from him that you've incorporated in your own style of coaching, especially in the strength area?
Well, with me, when it comes to Coach TJ, TJ was a father figure to me. He's the closest thing I ever had to a father. So every opportunity I had come my way, I always ran it by Coach TJ. That's pretty much the guy I learned everything I know from. Every question I had, I took it to TJ. Past experience I had with Coach TJ, I kind of carry with me today. So I'd say everything I learned in the weight room pretty much came from Coach TJ.
Yeah, same thing here with me. I learned a lot from TJ. One of the main thing I learned from TJ was, the bottom line is performance. Right. And it's not, the bottom line isn't how much you bench press or how much you squat or how big your arms are. The bottom line is, does it make you a better football player? And so I remember one of the things that was always funny is, he would see me and maybe a couple other guys doing curls or something. And he called that, TJ called it, I'm going to use the nice way of saying it, the clean way of saying it. He said the bodybuilding BS. That's what he called it. He said, y'all doing that bodybuilding BS. Mm-hmm. So I still to this day, I've only got a certain amount of time to train my players. Right. And I am not going to waste time on arms. If I want to make the arms bigger, we're going to do dips or we're going to do chin-ups. We're going to do something that's, we're not going to waste a lot of time, doing arm curls. So, that was one thing I learned from TJ.
I worked with the strength program my last semester at Alabama, and he'd always come in there and call out players. They were more concerned about their arms and that bodybuilding stuff. So pretty good memory. Well, Jason, what did you take away from your father, and how do you incorporate it in your style of doing things?
Man, I'm still learning stuff to this day, but he really like every day he always tell me you're gonna be a student. Like every single day you're gonna learn something. Never get comfortable just going to the other side. I'm gonna go through a routine. So with him, I learned how to build relationships with all my players. So right now the big thing is a lot of technology and stuff in the game. And he always told me, your biggest technology is gonna be a relationship. Once you
Mhm.
build trust with all your players, you're gonna get intent behind every single workout. So you won't need a screen to show you how fast they're moving the bar. You can tell that they're moving the bar fast because they're gonna trust you. They're gonna put intent behind every workout. So like now, my big thing is building relationships with all my players.
Well, Marvin, I can ask you the same thing. I mean, of course, you were under him as well. What is your biggest takeaway from him, especially now that fitness is your thing? You've got one of the best books that's out there that covers the topic. What did you learn from TJ that you're implementing in your own fitness lifestyle?
One of the most important things that I learned from Coach Jones was not to be too strong. No, not even playing. He brought it to me because when I came to Alabama, I was already benching 460, 470 pounds, squatting well over 600 pounds. From him, I learned that, when you start to push your body to a certain limit, you can become harmful to yourself. Learn your limits. Learn how to work out in a way that you'll get results without harming yourself. And that's the thing that a lot of people have not learned. Everybody think that just because you're working out, that's what you're supposed to do. But you can seriously injure yourself from working out. Mm-hmm. So from him, I learned a lot of the do's and the don'ts about working out, how to get the results you want while maintaining your health.
Well, Kendall, you also had the opportunity to be under Ben Pollard, who really changed the strength and conditioning landscape in college football. What about his methods allowed so much growth and strength from your team and you personally?
Yeah, that was a big change. We were so used to working with TJ and his style and how he did everything. Pollard came in and pretty much changed, everything under Franchione. It was a good experience, learn new ways, different voice, different ideas, seeing it in a different way. I felt like it was a positive influence.
Of course, Jason, you had the opportunity to work under Scott Cochran, who, I guess took it, that torch that Pollard passed and took it to a whole nother level, whole nother energy. Just what did you experience from him, and what have you taken with you from what he's taught you?
Man, I learned a lot from Cochran during the time. I remember when I was there when he first got there, he was like 27, and he was full of energy. And then when he started getting older, he started telling me like, always stay true to yourself. So I try to come every day with energy, but at the same time, he always told me to stay true to myself and be my own coach. So I can't come in there imitate him, be my own coach. That's one thing he always taught me, and I try to carry it on when I coach now.
What about his methods that have made him so successful in the strength coaching arena?
Recruiting
again.
Yeah, that's
Hey, it ain't hard when you got the best horses in the stable.
That's true. That's true. But when you got that talent like that, you still got to have that relationship with them.
That's true.
The guys got to believe in you, because when they do, they'll run through a wall for you. That's
There's
one.
A lot of personalities in that.
It was there. The relationship with the weight room was above everything. They came to us for everything. They trusted us. They believed what we was telling them, and the energy was always high. They knew what they was gonna get when they came in there.
Yeah. Now, on a side note, I gotta give props to one person. This person was a phenomenal football player, but he didn't want to work out for nothing. That Chris Samuels. Chris was on here a few weeks ago. I've never seen a player perform at his level and barely worked out. You talking about grown man strength? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Chris didn't want to touch no weights.
Things was a lot different back then. You know how we had TJ, Coach Martin, and maybe two guys in there helping. You got 30 guys in there lifting. You can skate by with things. But today, we pretty much see every rep. Every set, every rep. So you can't get away with anything today.
Right.
Well, we've witnessed a shift in the focus on fitness in society from when y'all all started. Before strength coaches, were rare about, now you guys can easily be considered the most vital piece to a team other than a head coach. How critical is this aspect of things?
You broke up. Can you say that one more time?
Well, I'm just saying that since y'all first started in the game, the focus on society as far as fitness goes is greatly shifted. The strength coach now, where in the past wasn't really talked about a whole lot, but now it's like y'all are considered like the most vital part of the team, other than the head coach. How critical is what y'all do to a team's success?
Well, I think the off season is really important as far as building a baseline that you can build, your football skills off of and not get hurt. I mean, honestly, in season, you want to try to do the bare minimum and make sure you're leaving plenty of energy for those guys on the field. Kind of in a nutshell, that's what I would say.
I got you.
And that's what I mean by that, that contact you have with the guys as a strength coach. Because, man, the whole summer, whole winter program, man, they pretty much yours. And you got them every day, all day. So you build those relationships with them, and it pays off.
Yeah, that's one thing I was getting at was, you spend so much time with them, what they're capable of. And, that becomes very critical in season when you get a guy that just played 100 snaps, 2 days before. And, there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done in order to maintain your strength, with the bottom line being you got to perform again on Saturday at a high level. Knowing that player, and he's got to trust you because he feels like he's just been in a car wreck. And you're telling him, hey, look, we at least got to squat. We got to put X amount of weight on the bar and at least get a couple reps with it. So, yeah, it does come down to knowing your players, how talented they are. And some guys just need confidence. Some guys just they got to lift a certain number, on bench press or whatever, just so they have confidence going into that game. And then there's some guys, like Chris Samuels, who just had great talent, and he didn't need that.
All right. I got a question for y'all. I know Justin probably wouldn't ask this, but I'm going to ask you. Everybody knows that on game days, strength coach's number one job is to keep the coach off the field. Funniest thing that ever happened to y'all when y'all were telling a coach to get off the field.
That's a good point.
Because I know it's been some words shed behind that.
I saw Coach Venables almost jumped on a fumble one day. I forgot who we were playing, but the guy fumbled it, and the ball was like a foot from the sidelines, and there was a bunch of people around, and none of our guys could see it. And he literally ran. I mean, he was dang near on the field, pointing at the ball, trying to tell the guys it's right here. And he was so close. Eventually, he had to roll backwards off the field. I still don't know how somebody didn't run into him.
So, Kendall, have you ever got Coach Saban off the field?
No, I had a rule. I had a rule at Alabama. Everybody get the hell back except Coach Saban. Everybody else got to get back except Coach Saban.
So you weren't messing with, you weren't touching that, huh?
No, I ain't messing with that one.
No, I don't mess with Dabo either. Dabo's, you got the referee's box, you got the coach's box, and you got the player's box. Dabo just stays in the referee's box. So we just don't even, he just does his own thing, and I guess head coaches can do that. I've never seen them say anything to a head coach.
I agree.
What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I'm learning from them.
Say you ain't getting them off the field.
No, sir. I'm copying from my two mentors. Listen to them.
Can y'all talk nutrition side of things, and how important is that, in regards to what y'all are doing?
I mean, that's a major part of what we're doing. I mean, because we're taking a lot out of these guys. So you take it out of them, you got to put it right back in them. And the nutrition side of it, you know, they're going to put the right things in them. You know, these young kids, the first thing they want to do is run off and grab something quick. So when they come off the field, leaving a workout, you know, nutrition right there, putting it right back in them with the right things. And that helps big time with their recovery.
Now, but in terms of nutrition, we all know that a lot of these kids are still growing. They come in from high school. Some of them, depending upon their economic statuses, probably weren't eating the things that they should have ate, probably weren't even eating enough. So when you got young kids that come in like that and you know they have all the potential in the world, but physically that body's just not ready yet. So how do you get a body of a 18, 19-year-old that's been malnourished, ready to play a season in a matter of weeks once y'all get them?
I'll say this. It's amazing to see what the human body can do. And I mean, like, for example, 9 years ago, when I was our nutritionist, I was the strength coach / nutritionist 8 years ago here at Clemson. That's all we had. And I was back there spotting guys, and then I would go wash my hands and I'm making shakes and I'm coming back and I'm spotting guys. And I would see guys show up for summer workout and all they had all day is a banana. And they were able to go through the workouts. And then, you know, fast forward to this year when we only had 4 weeks to get them ready for a football season. And so, you know, 15, I think we had 15 or 16 workouts. All 15 or 16 of those workouts had to absolutely count. And the rate that we were able to push those guys and make the progress that we did in 4 weeks, it was really amazing. But you can't do that without proper nutrition. I mean, anybody can go in there and tear muscle tissue, you know, but it's what's happening the other 22 hours out of the day that's going to determine whether they grow and come back. And I'll be honest with you, I think there's still a lot we don't know. Now, would I want to do that every year to train, you know, take 4 guys to try to get a guy ready for football season? Heck no. And I think you're going to see, you know, about mid-season is going to be when it's going to be real crucial that, you know, you find a balance between stress and rest with these guys because, you know, they were ready for the first 4 weeks of the season because that's how long we'd been training. But, you know, I don't know, you know, I think there'll be a lot of weird injuries here mid-season that normally you don't have. I hope not, but, you know, I think there'll be some teams that, you know, maybe they didn't have quite the nutrition or quite the, you know, dedication during the off season, you know, that you may see some weird stuff happen mid-season.
Well, you know, I tell a lot of these young guys when I talk to them that they're actually very blessed and very fortunate that the NCAA has stepped in and put a lot of practices and procedures in place because when we played, it was 3 of these. You know,
Right.
you know, that was like torture, man. How you like, dude? We just came off the field. We've been on the field long enough to eat a granola bar and change my socks, and you want me right back out here?
Yeah.
And these guys these days has no idea about that.
And then Dubos used to talk about, oh, it's just in shells. That ain't a real practice. What you mean? We don't go full speed. You're gonna start it over.
You know,
Jason,
had there not been the COVID thing this year, I think you would have seen some really freaky big football players because the rule changes. You know, last year was the first year that you really saw guys grow. And I wish I could show you the body fat and the muscle mass changes that, you know, just our offensive line made, you know, last year when we had a full off season with unlimited feeding. I mean, it was unreal to see their body comp changes. But then this year, you know, we didn't have that. So it would have been interesting to see. I think you would have seen some really big, freaky looking guys. I think the only difference between the bodies this year and last year is you got guys that are probably 5 to 10 pounds less muscle mass, you know?
True.
Yeah, I'm excited for the off season to see how big guys get during this off season.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about the success each of your programs have achieved on your training, and maybe even moments where certain athletes, I guess, have brews in the strength and conditioning arena?
I'd say, with the talent that we had at the University of Alabama, you can't see nothing but results. And when you have talent like that, I know Paul can speak on that too. When you have talent like that, that's willing to work and put the work in that those guys put in, your job as a coach is pretty easy, you ask me. It all depends on the type of athletes you have. If you have guys that's talented and on top of that, they willing to work, make your job a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, I'd say, I was a GA at Clemson, 15 years ago, I guess, or something like that. And back then we weren't getting near the talent that we're getting now. And so, it was pretty much the same program back then. And we had some donkeys. I mean, we did not have talent. And those guys will tell you too. And we still had guys, getting drafted and were getting developed. And now I'll say you're getting more of a ready-made product with the better recruiting now. And it's almost, it's like, for example, like Jackson Carman, our left tackle. He's probably the most talented kid that I've ever tried to, train. And he was a kid that had never lifted weights. He just got by on strictly talent. And so just anything was going to help him. He's already a good football player. I'm not going to make him a good football player. Now I could screw him up by trying to do too much with him, but he was already a ready-made product, but I've also seen guys that were, no star athletes that came in and did all the right things and, might've got a free agent shot, and made it. So yeah, I've seen a little bit of both in the last, 10 years at Clemson.
Yeah, my short amount of time coaching, a lot of them guys that come in, they already come kind of prepared. So all you gotta teach them like technique to Olympic lifts. And them guys are already so smart, they'll adjust to it quickly. So you might teach them something real small on an Olympic lift, and it just boosts them, like just helps them. Stuff like that.
All right, quickly, if one of y'all or if all of y'all want to touch on this, a lot of people have always asked me, what is the purpose of working out the day after a game? Why do players go run and lift the day after a game? One of y'all mind tackling that?
Just blood flow.
Yeah. Yep, get that blood flowing, get that soreness out. Just like when you start working out, you work out, you get up next day, you sore. Best thing to do, go work out again. Just get that blood flowing.
And then a lot of times you find that kids, especially when all that adrenaline running.
Well, look who just popped in.
Oh, man. Especially with all that adrenaline running during the game. The next day you might be lifting weights like, oh man, my ankle's swollen, or man, a lot of knick-knack things you might find afterwards that you didn't find during the game. So that's a lot of good things that you can find out of that too. So
I got you. Of course, Jason, one of the things I've noticed about UAB is the tremendous change in physicality. Every program came back. It's not the same UAB as it was in the past. It seemed like y'all have a different brand of being physical. What has really led to that change as far as that side of things?
Oh, well, I got there in February, but with me, I work with Coach Lyle Henley, and he comes with like a real good mentality, like getting the guy to wrap around the intent of working out and kind of giving them messages before practice, before workouts, after workouts, and kind of like getting them locked in every single day to come in and try to be their best. I know A-Watt was there before I got there, so he might be able to speak on it as well.
Yeah, I was there for about 8 months, and like you said, Coach Lau, they spent I think a year of just scrimmaging each other, working out. So a lot of things when they canceled the program, it almost kind of like helped them and like boost them forward because they spent 1 year only doing developmental work. So you got those guys that weren't good weightlifters, but they was good athletes. And he was able to spend a whole year just developing them. So when they came back, there was a whole different person. And once you start winning, everybody know on this call, once you start winning, you get better caliber athletes. So and that plays a role into it too.
Alex, hold on, Alex. I gotta say thank you to you as well, Alex. Because the other three gentlemen on this call disappointed me because I just knew that they were gonna get on and they was gonna have on a shirt, a coach's pullover, something with their logo. That's why I put my logo on because I felt like we was all gonna be team affiliated today. But only Alex showed up with the skate on him.
Hey, I'm straight off the presses. I just came in, say hey to my dogs and hopped on.
See, I said I'm addressed
I'm about
like
to have
the
to
people
put
on
my
the call
kids in
tonight.
bed.
Hey,
Yeah.
when I come to work, I mean, I was at Alabama so long. I leave Tennessee, get home, take my shower, and when I change clothes, I throw right back on my Alabama gear. So
How do you put on that orange, man?
At least you're honest.
Yeah, fun team.
Alex, what were your main takeaways from your time at Alabama as a player under Coach Cochran, and how did you implement, what you learned while there when you reached UAB and even now at State?
When I was at Alabama, I was always a hard worker. Coach Moorehead can vouch for that. I was always a hardworking guy. That the weight room stuff came kind of easy to me. But what I learned when I came back, you never learn things as a player that you learn as a coach. So I came back and interned after being with the Tennessee Titans for a year, and I learned that Coach Cochran can basically. I learned how to motivate a kid. Right, so Coach Cochran probably one of the best motivators that I've been around. And then I guess you got Lit Man on the phone, Coach Jones. Coach Jones also taught me the O's, so he's my mentor.
Oh.
And then I went to Stillman, I went to Texas Southern, and then I got to UAB. But a lot of things, just learn how to motivate an athlete, and an athlete is more than an athlete. He's a person first. So if you develop the person within the athlete, and the athlete will come. So it's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys like Julio that was very good guys. You got a lot of guys like Mark Ingram that was very good guys, and they excel when they went into the NFL. So.
I got a question from the audience. Do y'all have specific goals for the major lifts, or is it a little bit more broader than that?
My major goal, if it's a power clean, is just strictly to make them more explosive. I'm not trying to make them Olympic lifters. Great. If they can get their power clean up to 315, great. But I'm just trying to make him more explosive. I'm just trying to make him a better football player. I mean, if getting this guy stronger makes him a better football player, great. If getting this guy more explosive makes him a better football player, great. So no, I would say no, I don't have specific goals other than to make them the best at that lift that they could possibly be.
Yeah, I agree with Paul too. You want to make them bigger, stronger, and faster. I mean, that's your goal, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure they get to that field healthy, in the best shape possible, so they can really go out there and do what they really come there to do. They don't come there really to lift weights. We want to maintain them, get them bigger, stronger, and faster, but we want to make sure they're healthy for the football field.
Jason?
Oh, I agree with everything they said, pretty much. Just I mean, if they come in with a focus on like, look, I want to get my power clean, I want to get my power clean up. My main thing is not how much weight you got on the bar, but how can you move that weight on the bar? Like how can you move the bar? How fast can you move the bar rather than how much weight you can get? So when they get more fluent in the lift, then we'll start worrying about weight after. So
Jason, you know what your daddy's favorite saying used to be? Speed on the bar.
Speed
on the bar.
bar.
Same thing I say. Speed on the bar.
Echo all day long. Speed on the bar.
Yeah,
It's simple.
yeah, I get like everybody said. I mean, I agree with all the guys, all the coaches. The one thing that you want that I believe in is a guy come in. I guess of course a guy come in that he cleans 205, right? So of course you're gonna have goals. So that guy say he got to be better at that lift. Or a guy comes in squatting on the 315 and he played D line. So of course you want to get those numbers up, but it's always the same. Like, all right, lifting weights don't make you an athlete. All right, so but it makes you better. It makes you a better athlete. So just making him more of a fit lifter, like everybody said, man. Just intent on the bar, moving it fast. You can squat. You can come in squatting 500, but better squatting 500. Right? And then within the program, 12 weeks in the program, now you're moving 500 with speed, and then you also reach that level of like and Coach Lyle kind of talked about that. You reach that level of there's 600 squatting 600 really matter. You know what I'm saying? If you squat 600, you squatting 600 slow, you still gonna get whooped when you get out there. If you build an athlete, you want to build them fast. You don't want to build them slow. So same thing in the weight room. You move bar fast. You move fast on the football field. If you move the bar slow on the football field, in the weight room, it might correlate to you being a slow athlete. So we all power athletes, not trying to be the world's strongest man. So.
Gotcha. Another question from the audience. What advice do you have for guys trying to enter your field?
Start early. The early you figure out what you want to do. The faster you can get in the field. But I feel like get a great mentor. Start with a guy. A lot of these guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys on the phone, you're gonna work for free first. Before you get anything. So once you get in this field, don't try to look for the check. Don't try to look for the money route. All right, look for what's gonna make you a better strength and conditioning coach. So that's my advice.
And have some tough skin, because I done heard how these head coaches talk to some of these strength coaches.
Yeah, they talk crazy, but I tell them all the time I'm married. I hear it every day
anyway.
Hear it every day anyway.
What about you, Paul? You got any advice for someone who's trying to get into this field? Do they necessarily need to start working with the team, or can they still be successful as far as entering this arena without it?
Yeah, first, I mean, you just got to love it. I mean, if you don't love it, you're probably not going to be in it very long. I would say that first, but it just depends on what you want to do. You want to be around a team setting? Do you just want to help people? Really depends on what you want. What do you want to get out of it, or what do you want other people to get out of it?
I got you. Any advice for?
I agree with what Paul said too. Same thing. You just gotta love it. You gotta love being in the weight room, because you're gonna spend a lot of hours in there, and then as well write stuff down. Like with me growing up, being in there, a lot of stuff I was like, okay, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna remember that. Write stuff down. Try to actually have it on paper, of you trying to keep everything balled up in your head, trying to remember. So,
as far as getting their foot in the door, is there anything that they need to do as far as, I guess, finding their in?
You got to be certified. I mean, you either have to be CSCS or CSCCA certified. That's the only two that you can have. You can't just get any certification off the internet. It's got to be one of those two main certifications. It's getting harder too. I think now you actually have to have a physiology, some type of physiology background or physiology degree. They've made more rules to it now than it used to be. It used to be you pass the test, and if you've got a master's, then you can enter the field. But that would be the biggest hurdle, would be getting certified first.
So no LA fitness trainers is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Especially after that situation that happened at Maryland and then at Oregon too a couple years back. But like they said, you gotta love what you do, and you gotta come in. Especially in this level. If you're talking about Power 5, big time football, man, it starts there too. Relationships. I'm saying you got to come in. You just got to love what you do. You got to work, knowing you're going to have to work for free when you first start, and just get in there and do what you love. And you're going to build those relationships, and your work going to speak for itself.
And if you love what you do, you're not going to care what kind of job you're doing or if you're getting paid. That's why I'm saying you got to love it, because you're going to get all the crap jobs. You can volunteer and you're going to get the crap jobs, but you just got to be willing to stick it out. And if you love it, it's not work.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking for when you're promoting an assistant, intern, or a grad assistant?
I mean, the same thing Paul just said, a guy that loves what he does, that's just not there, learning every day, because don't nobody know it all. Every athlete is different. You can't treat every athlete the same. Get in there, work, grind, do the little things, and it'll pay off for you.
Jason, you got anything on that?
Oh yeah, same, pretty much same thing. And just coming in there every day, like you can't come in there, all right, well, we just left yesterday. Or somebody who whine a lot. You can't come in there whining, talking about, we just left this day, that day. If you love what you do, you don't come in there first of the morning ready to go. So you don't want your players in there with no energy. You want your players in there with energy, ready to go and trying to take their challenge every single day. So any guy that's trying to get into the field, when we had an intern not too long ago that came to UAB, I told him, like, every day, just take every day as a challenge, man. Just try to get yourself better and try to get whoever you coaching better at the same time.
Jason, you can tell us the truth. Big T was reading you off-season workout programs as a baby instead of nursery rhymes. We know it started from birth. 2 sets of 5, 3 sets of 10. Hey,
he never got a whooping. All he ever got was burpees and up down.
Big T had him over there doing wall squats every time he got in trouble.
I can't say what TJ used to call that stuff. The burpees, he called it stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah. He still call it. Still call it it.
That's hilarious.
Well, I know y'all all got families and whatnot to get back to, but before we let y'all go, can each of you tell me what your overall goal is for your programs?
Well, this is my
first. We're going to go in numerical order with the number 1 team in the country, or are we just going random?
We're going to go with the number 1 team in the country.
You shot that little commercial and you just, man.
I hate
My goal with these guys, is always just to help them be the best version of themselves. I know that sounds cliche, but that's really my goal.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah, on and off the field. Not just football. Just on and off the field. Coming there, 18-year-old young man, leave out a grown man.
Alex, what is your overall goal as far as what you're doing at Mississippi State and, maybe even down the road?
All right. So, of course, we are, Mike Leach just got here, and we incorporating a different type of system. We really trying to create a new not new culture, but get back to the culture that used to be Mississippi State. I mean, everybody know, like when I was playing Alabama, Mississippi State, you knew you were gonna be in a dogfight. You know what I'm saying? At least for 3 quarters, or you said, "Dang, guys might come out banged up." So we're really trying to get back to that dog mentality. All right, so that's what we're trying to do here. And then, of course, you're trying to build better athletes. You're trying to build better people. I mean, we're gonna do that. You're gonna do that along the way. But no, just trying to get back to that grind, like what Mississippi State used to be. So that's what we're really trying to get back to, and more than anything else. That's our goal.
Gotcha, Jason.
What the coach, same thing what Coach said, what Moorehead said, just keeping the player on and off the field. UAB got a pretty winning tradition right now, winning culture right now. So I'm just trying to do my part to help them keep winning. You know, keep the players safe, keep the players healthy over during this COVID, and just, you know, keep them locked in. Let them hope they good on and off the field.
I gotcha. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate y'all coming on. And it's amazing to see, you know, what y'all are doing on each of y'all's programs and what God has done, and as far as opening doors. I appreciate you coming and sharing y'all's knowledge with us. And there were a lot of folks who are listening tonight that were really excited about this aspect of things. So I appreciate the knowledge that you brought and what we've learned today.
And I want to take the time and thank you guys, man. Listen, when I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of you four, man. All of you, Alabama grads, Crimson Tide, family, B-Side 5, the brotherhood, man. I love turning on my TV on Saturdays, watching games, seeing y'all on sidelines, man. Y'all don't understand how important that is to a lot of us out here. Because we don't play anymore, we're still just fans. But the fact of seeing our brothers out here on these fields still involved at a high level in the game that we grew up loving our entire lives, man, it's a powerful thing that y'all do. Never take it for granted, man. Keep impacting those young kids, changing lives forever. And again, thank you.
Appreciate y'all for having us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, cool, guys.
Now, if y'all want to exchange some pleasantries, I'm sure some of y'all got to play each other at some point. So if y'all want to hash it out a little bit real quick.
Well, we do need to make predictions if anybody wants to join me, Marvin and myself in that.
I don't think they can make predictions.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nah, we take them one game at a time.
Right.
Yeah. Kentucky, that's all I'm focused on. 1-0 against Kentucky.
Yeah.
There you go.
Against Texas A&M. That's what we got next.
Kendall, you still gonna be wearing the Alabama stuff underneath the Tennessee shirt next weekend, or?
Don't answer that, Kendall.
No,
don't
I'm doing
that.
like that.
I'm just kidding.
You have no idea how bad I want that game. I want that game. I want that game. You know, it's just, I mean, in my spare time, I mean, I'm still Alabama. That's my school. I got love. But 24/7, I'm all go Vols.
Hold on. Hey, Kendall, Alex, I got a question. Paul, I got a question for all three of y'all real quick. Are y'all ready and anticipating playing Alabama this year? Because everybody says that defense is down. Does everybody feel like this is the year to just completely dominate Alabama?
No, I ain't never been that type of player. I ain't never been that type of player or that type of coach. I want to beat them at their best.
Yeah, I want to beat them at their best.
I want them at their best. Because what if they're expected to win, they down, it ain't the same. I want the king.
For sure. I want to take off the top dog. But they all still putting up 60 points now. So
yeah, and they're giving them up too.
Yeah, you just got to the opponent now. You just got to score the opponent.
Yeah.
I got you.
I ain't gonna tell you the inside stuff I know, but we're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you this.
I guess Paul's saying we just gonna keep doing what we've been doing.
No.
I mean, why change now?
It's just too early. It's too early.
Yeah.
I mean, we played 4 games. I mean, it's just too early to know who's good and who's bad, and they just probably had a bad game. I mean,
Paul.
Yes.
How many times have you been on that slide, Paul?
What's that?
How many times have you been on that slide?
Oh, the slide in the complex?
Yeah.
Oh, I go down it every day. Every day. It's the fastest route, man. It's the fastest route, and it dumps you off right next to a refrigerator, and you can just grab you something to drink and walk right in the weight room. I go up it sometimes. Like if I'm in a hurry, I will run up the slide just because it's faster.
See, the way my knees set up, I can't quite do that kind of stuff.
Hey, tell him, both my knees bad, and I'm 31. It's all right.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all again. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Again, glad to have you guys on. Very, like Marvin said, very proud of what you guys are doing on the field. It speaks volumes, and I look forward to what the future holds for each of y'all.
And good luck this weekend.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, see you guys.
See y'all.
All right, guys, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right, Marvin, are you ready to jump into some predictions?
Always.
All right, man. We're going to start out with number 11, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State.
So
Alex is off, so you can.
I'm gonna read my wages for the week. I picked Texas A&M with that 5.5. I took Florida with the 2.5. I took North Carolina with at the 9, and I took Ole Miss, and then I took South Carolina.
Oh wow! So does A&M have a hangover this week after that big win against Florida, or do they handle their business?
I took Florida.
Oh my God!
I took Florida.
Yeah, I know you did. I did too, but I kind of felt that A&M, there's a slight chance they may pull off the upset, and they did. And Kellen Mond played the game of his life. Now, if he would just play the other games like that, he might be a future top 10 pick.
Right.
All right. Well, number 18, Tennessee versus Kentucky.
Tennessee.
All right. Ole Miss versus Arkansas.
Ole Miss.
Number 10, Florida versus LSU. I know the game has lost a little bit of its luster because of what is going on down in Baton Rouge, but it's still a rivalry game.
That and all the positive COVID tests in Florida. Oh, my God. So I picked Florida originally, but I'm going to stick with that plan because LSU has been terrible.
Do you think that the game may go on? There have been talks that they ceased operations today, actually. And I think 19 players were out. So that's something to definitely watch. All right. After their fresh loss to Clemson, Miami is taking on Pitt. How do the Hurricanes handle this one?
I think they'll respond. I think Miami will win by 10.
All right. Those other guys versus South Carolina.
South Carolina. I told you I picked South Carolina.
All right, Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I know Georgia Tech's not too flashy, but they are getting it done here as of late. But are they ready to take on the number 1 Tigers?
No, they're nowhere near ready. No.
All right, big game of the weekend.
Clemson all day.
Yeah. Big game of the weekend. I went a little ahead of myself there. Number 2, Alabama versus number 3, Georgia.
I gotta pick out. I mean, naturally, am I worried? No. And the difference between being nervous, can we finish? That is the key. I feel like we're going to come out strong, but we're going to have to finish. I'm nervous about how we're going to finish.
Very valid thing right there. I am too. I'm kind of nervous about how we're going to respond after last week and how we're going to answer all the heavy criticism that we received. And we're facing a Georgia team that, like you mentioned earlier, man, they're tired of those losses. They're tired of hearing about not being able to reach that next level. They're ready to come in and they're ready to become the team in the SEC. But this is a big game, like we mentioned earlier, for Mac Jones as far as being considered for the Heisman. This is his showcase. I don't feel like we're going to put up 40 or 50 points again just because of the style of play from the Georgia defense. They're number one in the country in the defense for a reason. So I don't think it's going to be as easy treading unless they just make a lot of mistakes. So I feel like Alabama wins, but it's going to be a close game.
They want to be the powerhouse. They want to be all things Alabama. Bottom line is, last time you won a championship, 8 tracks were in style. Bell bottoms were in style.
You didn't do that to them.
Blow. That's right. 1980. At the time of your championship, again, 1980. Okay. What was also popular in 1980? Cutlass Supreme. Buick Regal. Hey, it was 1980.
Classic.
You know? Come on now. Electra 225. Really? Come on, man. It was 1980. And that number is going to stay with Georgia. Y'all ain't going to win a championship in the next decade. As long as Alabama is alive and breathing, you will not dominate the Tide. Take this, record it, play it back. We whooping that butt come Saturday. I don't care what happened last week.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what's going to happen. All right, before we go, a couple of things. Marvin, again, tell us about your book, how it's doing this week, and tell some people how they can get their hands on it and what it's doing for people too.
The book is phenomenal, man. Again, the sales have been, I'm still surprised at how many sales have actually occurred with this book. Again, I thought it would be a few sales, nothing like the outpouring that it is. And then to see the feedback from people, you know, because again, the book has been out now for 3-4 weeks. So, you know, for the people who ordered it from the beginning, one guy, Jonathan, boom, he's already dropped 13 pounds already. Another guy, Arden, he's already dropped 10 pounds. I mean, it's like, it's falling off them. I mean, they're just applying the basic principles in their book because at this age, 40 plus, you know what I'm talking about? That had to bring up 40. The body operates differently at this age. So in order to get the results you want, you got to take a different approach. So, you know, as simple as making a few minor adjustments, but still enjoying the things that you love in life. But you just got to make some adjustments to get your body to perform the way you want it to perform.
And how do we get our copy of this book?
You can go to 40+strong.com. 40+strong.com.
Also, listeners, you can go on the sportscast.net. We also have a link to 40 Plus Strong to order your copy right away. All right, Marvin, can you promo next week's show? That's, you know, if things go right Saturday.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, I think it's time for that quarterback special we've been talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, we've got 2 of them already confirmed. We're just waiting to hear back from a third one. Yes. But it's going to be a quarterback special of some very famous, very legendary Alabama quarterbacks. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Not at all. Guys, if you have any questions about our next show or for us, email us at therileyandconstantshow@gmail.com. All right. Any closing remarks leading into this game, or you feel like you've already covered everything you need to cover?
Listen, man, it's Georgia, bottom line. I mean, it's the same. Georgia football as a whole, including the state. Look at the Falcons, have never won a championship. The Dogs, 1980. Most people watching this don't even know what a championship parade looks like in this state, okay? They don't even know what it, you know, so maybe you should, and you can see what a championship parade, we have them regularly. So we don't even have to decide what the program or the parade is going to look like. We just redo the one we usually did the year or 2 before that, and we just do it over again. Because, you know, we do it often. Our parade route is probably still has confetti on it from our last championship. But y'all know nothing about that. So we're not worried at all. Again, 1980, okay?
All right. How can people reach you, Marvin, on all the social media platforms?
I'm going to start with Faith. Oh, man. That's all Instagram. Constant 45. Twitter, Constant 451. Facebook, Marvin Constant. And I'm always available on 40plusstrong.com.
That's what I'm talking about.
I even broke out the shirt today.
You did. Is that now available for us to buy?
Not yet.
Yeah. So you're teasing us
Here's
today.
the thing. They're available, but I don't want them available yet, though. You know why?
But we want them available. And the
I know.
Right.
But for those who don't know, my supplement line will be available very, very shortly. So I want the apparel and the supplement line to all hit at the same time, because again, the 40 Plus Strong apparel directly works with the supplement line. So, I want to launch it all at the same time, which it's going to happen very, 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 very soon.
Yes, sir. And we're going to stay on top of that. I'm going to keep asking about that. And
you won't have to keep asking much longer because I'm ambitious. I'm very ambitious.
Oh, I know you. There's no question about it. And believe me, I would do my fair share of promoting, whether it's on the Sportscast platform or my
good
own.
material, the dry fits, the good stretch material. You can sweat in these things and you won't even be able to see it sweat. They work. I guess I shouldn't be telling y'all how well they work since I'm the only one using them these days.
We'll soon find out. Guys, if you want to reach me, I'm on Twitter at JustinRiley7, on Instagram at JustinRiley_7. Also, tune in to the sportscast.net as well, on Twitter at the Sportscast1, Instagram at the Sportscast1 as well. And before we go, we're going to have Marvin do a little bit of a pose down, which is great for you who are watching on video. If you listen to the audio version, well, you're missing out.
I'm trying to show them why they should buy the book so they can get the guns up. You know what I'm talking about? These are some nice 40-year-old guns.
I hear you, brother, and we appreciate that. But yeah, don't forget to download our app. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. You'll always be in the know. Marvin, another great show. Had a great time. I'm looking forward to the quarterback special. So everybody tune in. Yes, sir. All right, man. We'll roll tide.
Roll tide.